Ladies and gentlemen, have you ever wondered why a woman's silence can feel louder than her words? Why her smallest actions can reveal more truth than hours of conversation? The reality is, every woman's behavior is a language, a code, that, if understood, can transform the way you love, connect, and build lasting relationships. Tonight, I'm going to reveal 8 powerful truths about women's behavior that most people overlook. Once you understand these, you'll never see her actions the same way again, and you'll unlock a deeper level of connection than you thought possible. And when you respond with patience, respect, and genuine love, you unlock the best version of her, the side that is nurturing, loyal, radiant, and unstoppable. Every fact about women's behavior is a reminder that love is not passive. It is active, intentional, and deeply human. And the more we understand these truths, the more fulfilling our relationships with women and with ourselves become. But let us go even deeper, because these 8 facts are not just surface lessons. They are doorways into an entirely new way of seeing women. When you expand your understanding, you start to see that behind every behavior is a pattern. Behind every reaction is an emotional code. The woman who pulls away is not simply cold. She is protecting herself from disappointment. The woman who asks questions is not simply nagging. She is searching for reassurance. The woman who cries is not being weak. She is releasing the pressure that society tells her to hold inside. One of the most profound truths is that women embody contrast. They can be strong and soft at the same time. They can be fiercely independent yet crave deep companionship. This contrast is not confusion, it is completeness. A woman who pushes you away today might be the same woman who wants you to hold her tighter tomorrow. If you only judge her behavior, on the surface, you miss the underlying message. She wants balance. She wants to feel she can be both strong and vulnerable without being judged. Think about how women love. It is rarely halfway. When a woman chooses you, she chooses with her whole self. She invests in your dreams. She prays for your success. She nurtures your well-being. But her love also demands reciprocity. If she gives everything and receives little, her behavior begins to shift. She withdraws, not because she has stopped loving, but because she refuses to pour endlessly into a cup that does not pour back into her. This is not selfishness, it is self-preservation. A woman's behavior teaches you that love must be mutual, not one-sided. Another layer is how women respond to energy. A woman thrives in environments where energy is stable, calm, and uplifting. She can sense when a man carries chaos, unresolved anger, or dishonesty, and her behavior naturally reacts to that. Some men call it moodiness, but it is sensitivity. Women are highly responsive to the emotional climate around them. If your presence brings peace, she will reflect peace. If your presence carries tension, she will absorb and mirror that tension. This is why emotional discipline is not just a personal virtue, it becomes a relational necessity. It is also important to understand how women view time and consistency. For many men, love is expressed in grand gestures, an expensive gift, a surprise trip, a sudden declaration. While these things excite her, what truly anchors her is consistency. Women do not just remember what you said once, they remember what you do repeatedly. If your words promise love, but your actions contradict them, she sees through the performance. Her behavior will shift to match the inconsistency she feels. But if your actions align with your words, she blossoms in trust, because consistency is proof of character. Women also carry an innate nurturing spirit. This does not only apply to children, it applies to relationships, careers, and dreams. A woman will often nurture what she loves. If she loves you, she will nurture you. If she loves her work, she will nurture it. Her behavior reflects this instinct to care, to protect, to build. But this nurturing has limits. When she feels unappreciated or taken for granted, she withholds it, not out of cruelty, but out of self-respect. She is teaching through her behavior that nurturing is a gift, not an obligation, and it must be honored. Consider how women handle pain. Unlike men, who may express hurt outwardly through anger or confrontation, women often internalize pain first. They reflect, they replay conversations, they analyze moments. Their behavior afterward might appear distant, quiet, or even indifferent. But inside, they are processing. This is why silence in a woman is rarely just silence. It is the sound of her healing, her evaluation, her decision-making. When you rush her or dismiss her silence, you miss the opportunity to understand what is happening beneath the surface. Her behavior is not absence, it is preparation for a response. One of the greatest revelations is how women connect love with respect. Many men assume love alone is enough, but for women, love without respect feels empty. Respect is shown in the way you listen to her, the way you value her opinions, the way you speak about her when she is not present. If love is the emotion, respect is the foundation. When she feels disrespected, her behavior becomes guarded, defensive, and resistant. But when she feels respected, she becomes supportive, loyal, and deeply giving. Her behavior in this sense is a mirror of the atmosphere you create. We must also talk about women and dreams. A woman does not only want to be part of your journey, she wants her dreams to be seen as valid too. When her ambitions are dismissed, her behavior often shifts into frustration or quiet resentment. But when you support her dreams as much as she supports yours, she becomes unstoppable. She behaves with more energy, more excitement, more joy. Her behavior teaches you that love is not about control. It is about partnership, about lifting each other higher. And then there is forgiveness. Women have an incredible capacity to forgive, but this forgiveness should never be mistaken for forgetfulness. Her behavior after betrayal is layered. She may smile, but the memory still lingers. She may forgive, but she tests whether you have truly changed. Forgiveness for women is often tied to behavior change. If your actions remain the same, her forgiveness starts to fade. But when your behavior proves growth, her forgiveness strengthens into renewed trust. Women are also teachers of patience. Sometimes her behavior seems slow to decide, cautious to move forward, hesitant to commit. This is not because she does not care. It is because she is weighing the cost. She understands that opening her heart comes with risk. Her behavior is a reflection of careful evaluation, not indecision. When you rush her, you create resistance. But when you honor her pace, you create space for trust. Another truth is that women thrive in appreciation. A simple acknowledgement of her effort can transform her behavior completely. She does not demand endless praise, but she longs to feel seen. When her sacrifices go unnoticed, her behavior begins to withhold effort. But when her contributions are acknowledged, she multiplies them. Women behave in alignment with how valued they feel, and this is why gratitude is not optional. It is essential. Finally, women remind us of the importance of presence. To a woman, your presence is not just physical, it is emotional and mental. You can be sitting beside her but absent in attention, and she feels it. Her behavior changes because presence to her means full engagement. When you listen attentively, when you show up consistently, when you prioritize her, her behavior mirrors that devotion. But when you are distracted, dismissive, or inconsistent, she feels neglected, and her behavior responds accordingly. These deeper truths reveal that women are not mysteries to be solved, but masterpieces to be appreciated. Every shift in behavior, every reaction, every silence, every gesture is a form of communication. When you learn to interpret these behaviors with patience and love, you build stronger connections, deeper trust, and lasting relationships. A woman's behavior is not random. It is wisdom expressed in action, teaching you how to love her better, how to grow with her, and how to rise together. These deeper truths reveal that women are not mysteries to be solved, but masterpieces to be appreciated. Every shift in behavior, every reaction, every silence, every gesture is a form of communication. When you learn to interpret these behaviors with patience and love, you build stronger connections, deeper trust, and lasting relationships. A woman's behavior is not random. It is wisdom expressed in action, teaching you how to love her better, how to grow with her, and how to rise together. And when you truly pay attention, you begin to see that her behavior reflects not only who she is, but also the energy of the environment she is in. Place a woman in a space where she feels cherished, respected, and supported, and you will see her blossom. Place her in an environment where she feels unappreciated, disrespected, or unsafe, and her behavior will naturally become guarded, defensive, and sometimes withdrawn. This is not weakness, it is survival. Women adapt to their surroundings in ways that protect their hearts. If her behavior changes, it is not because she suddenly became someone else, but because she is responding to what her spirit perceives. Her laughter becomes contagious, her energy becomes magnetic. Happiness in a woman is not just for her, it spills into her environment. But when she feels unfulfilled, her behavior shifts. She may become quieter, less expressive, and sometimes irritable. Her joy is deeply connected to her sense of belonging, to feeling valued, to living with purpose. If you want to understand her happiness, watch her behavior, because it reveals more than her words ever could. Women also express themselves powerfully in moments of conflict. Some may avoid confrontation, while others face it head-on, but their behavior in conflict always communicates deeper truths. If she withdraws, she may be protecting herself from escalation. If she argues passionately, she may be fighting not against you, but for the relationship. Her behavior in conflict is not about destruction, it is often about preservation. She wants to know if the relationship is strong enough to handle the storm. When you see her passion in conflict, recognize it as a sign that she still cares enough to fight for resolution. Indifference, on the other hand, is the true danger because it signals that her heart may already be walking away. Pay close attention to how women respond to consistency in love. A woman does not just measure love by what you do on special occasions. She measures it by what you do every day. If you tell her you love her but ignore her needs, her behavior begins to mirror the inconsistency. If you show up for her repeatedly, her behavior reflects a deepening trust and openness. Women look for patterns because patterns reveal character. When your behavior is steady, hers responds with peace. But when your behavior fluctuates, hers responds with confusion because inconsistency makes her question your intentions. Another truth lies in how women handle vulnerability. To open up, to share her fears, her insecurities, her deepest dreams. This is not something a woman does lightly. When she allows herself to be vulnerable, her behavior is saying, "I trust you with my soul." How you respond to that vulnerability determines the direction of the relationship. If you embrace her openness with empathy and care, her behavior becomes more affectionate, more loyal, more devoted. But if you dismiss or mock her vulnerability, her behavior closes off, and rebuilding that trust becomes one of the hardest tasks. Think of how women approach love as a partnership. Her behavior often reflects a desire for unity, for collaboration, for shared purpose. She does not just want to walk beside you, she wants to walk with you towards something greater. This is why her behavior often includes suggestions, ideas, and dreams for the future. She is not trying to control you, she is trying to build with you. When you misinterpret her behavior as control, you miss the truth that she is offering her heart to create a shared vision. Her behavior is an invitation, not a demand. It is also worth understanding that women use silence as a tool. A man might assume her silence means nothing, but silence in a woman is rarely empty. It can mean she is processing. It can mean she is observing. It can mean she is waiting to see if you notice. Silence is one of her most powerful behaviors because in it lies clarity. When she chooses silence over words, it often signals that what she feels runs too deep to be spoken casually. Learning to interpret silence is learning to understand her heart. Even in moments of distance, her behavior communicates. If she withdraws, it is not always rejection. Sometimes it is a plea for you to pursue, to reassure, to prove that your presence is genuine. Many misinterpret withdrawal as the end, when in reality, it can be a test of commitment. Her behavior is often layered with miyakis. Ning and distance can be one of her ways of measuring whether the connection is strong enough to withstand temporary space. Her behavior in love also mirrors how she views herself. If she is secure and confident, her behavior often reflects openness and freedom. If she struggles with self-worth, her behavior may reflect insecurity, jealousy, or doubt. This is why uplifting her, speaking life into her, and affirming her value is so powerful. A woman who feels cherished begins to behave differently. Her love deepens, her support grows stronger, her presence becomes more radiant. Your role in how she sees herself cannot be underestimated, because her behavior often reflects the mirror you hold up to her. And let us not forget that women are deeply resilient. Life may break them, circumstances may challenge them, but their behavior often reveals strength hidden beneath the surface. A woman who has been hurt may still choose to love again. A woman who has been disappointed may still show up with grace. Her resilience is often misunderstood as hardness, but in reality, it is her way of surviving and thriving despite challenges. Her behavior is a testament to her endurance, to her ability to rebuild even after being broken. So when you look at a woman's behavior, do not just see actions, see lessons. Each response, each silence, each expression carries a deeper truth about love, life, and connection. Women behave in ways that are not only about themselves, but about what they reflect back to you. They are mirrors, amplifiers, protectors, and nurturers all at once. And when you learn to read these behaviors with empathy, with patience, and with love, you discover that understanding a woman is not a burden, it is a privilege. So when you look at a woman's behavior, do not just see actions, see lessons. Each response, each silence, each expression carries a deeper truth about love, life, and connection. Women behave in ways that are not only about themselves, but about what they reflect back to you. They are mirrors, amplifiers, protectors, and nurturers all at once. And when you learn to read these behaviors with empathy, with patience, and with love, you discover that understanding a woman is not a burden. It is a privilege. What makes it even more profound is that her behavior often reveals her needs long before she verbalizes them. If she starts asking more questions, it might not be because she doubts you, but because she needs reassurance. If she becomes quieter than usual, it might not be because she has stopped caring, but because she is processing something deeply. Her behavior is like a compass pointing toward what is missing, what is desired, or what is feared. When you tune into those signals, you move from simply existing with her to truly connecting with her. One of the most remarkable aspects of women's behavior is how they balance sensitivity with strength. On the surface, her tears may look like fragility, but underneath those tears lies a strength that holds families together, that builds communities, that inspires generations. A woman can cry in one moment and stand up to fight in the next. Her behavior teaches that strength is not the absence of emotion. It is the ability to feel deeply and still move forward. Men are often taught to equate strength with silence, but women show that strength can coexist with expression, and that is a lesson worth embracing. Another powerful truth about women's behavior is how it reflects their vision for the future. A woman rarely invests her time, her energy, or her love where she sees no future. If she is with you, her behavior will begin to shape itself around building something lasting. She will ask questions about your dreams, your plans, your direction, not to interrogate you, but to see if her future can align with yours. Her behavior communicates whether she feels safe enough to build with you or whether she feels she must protect her future by holding back. When she shows interest in your growth, it is not meddling, it is partnership in its purest form. You will also notice that women often express love through service and sacrifice. She may go out of her way to prepare something for you, to support you in your struggles, or to put your needs ahead of her own. These behaviors are not to be taken lightly. They are signs of deep investment. But when her sacrifices are overlooked or unappreciated, her behavior begins to shift. She may stop doing the little things, not because she no longer cares, but because she is teaching through her actions that love should be reciprocal. Her behavior is her voice, reminding you that what she gives should not be taken for granted. Think about how women behave in moments of pride. When she is proud of you, her behavior becomes radiant. She brags about you to others. She supports you even more passionately. She stands by you with unwavering loyalty. A woman's pride in her partner is one of the strongest affirmations of love, and her behavior will reflect it openly. But the opposite is also true. When she feels let down repeatedly, when she feels embarrassed by broken promises, her behavior communicates disappointment, even if her words do not. This shows us how deeply respect and admiration fuel her actions. Women also have a way of embodying patience in their behavior, though it may not always appear obvious. She may repeat the same request multiple times, not because she enjoys nagging, but because she is holding on to hope that you will listen. She may wait quietly for changes she hopes to see, believing that love is worth patience. But patience has limits. Her behavior eventually shifts when she feels unheard for too long. She may stop asking, stop reminding, and stop waiting. That is not indifference, it is resignation, and it is one of the most powerful signals you must not ignore. Another fascinating element of women's behavior is their ability to multitask emotions. She can be frustrated with you, yet still love you deeply in the same moment. She can be tired, yet still nurture those around her. She can be hurt, but still show up with compassion. Her behavior reflects an emotional depth that is layered and multidimensional. Where men often compartmentalize emotions, women integrate them. This integration makes her behavior more nuanced and sometimes harder to decode, but it also makes her love richer because she does not stop caring just because she is upset. Pay attention also to how women behave when they feel cherished. When she feels adored, she becomes more playful, more affectionate, more giving. Her energy radiates warmth, and her presence becomes a source of joy. But when she feels neglected, her behavior shifts into withdrawal, sarcasm, or guardedness. These shifts are not random. They are responses to how she feels in the relationship. A woman's behavior is a constant reflection of whether her heart feels nurtured or starved. We cannot ignore the fact that women behave differently depending on the season of life they are in. A young woman's behavior may be more exploratory, more experimental, as she seeks to understand herself. A woman building a family may behave with more sacrifice, focusing her energy on creating stability. A woman who has endured heartbreak may behave with caution, testing whether new love is safe. Each season shapes her behavior, and understanding which season she is in allows you to interpret her actions with greater clarity. Her behavior is not static, it evolves with her growth. There is also the undeniable truth that women behave as guardians of their boundaries. When she sets limits, whether about respect, about time, or about values, her behavior communicates where her line is drawn. If you respect those boundaries, her behavior reflects trust and openness. If you repeatedly cross them, her behavior shifts into defensiveness or distance. Many mistake boundaries for rejection, but in reality, they are an invitation to build trust. A woman's behavior in this regard is her way of teaching you how to love her in ways that do not harm her. Her behavior in friendship also offers lessons. With those she values, she behaves with loyalty, with kindness, with generosity. She remembers birthdays. She checks in. She listens deeply. These same qualities spill into romantic relationships, showing that her behavior is consistent with who she is at her core. If she treats her friends with devotion, you can expect the same in love. And if her friendships reveal caution or distance, it may reflect past wounds she is still healing. Every aspect of her behavior across relationships gives you insight into the depths of her heart. Observe how women behave when they feel misunderstood. Often they withdraw, not because they have nothing to say, but because they feel unheard. They may stop explaining, stop opening up, and stop trying to bridge the gap. This is a powerful signal because it shows she has lost faith in being understood. The way to reconnect is not through force, but through patience and validation. Her behavior is not about giving up on you. It is about protecting herself from the pain of repeating words that go unheard. Finally, recognize that women behave as visionaries of legacy. They think not only about the moment, but about what will last, about the impact their choices have on their children, their families, and their communities. Her behavior often reflects a bigger picture than what is visible to you in the moment. She plans ahead, she considers the ripple effects, she acts with foresight. This is why her behavior sometimes seems cautious or overly detailed. It is not fear. It is foresight. She is not just living for now. She is building for tomorrow. When you piece all of this together, you realize that women's behavior is not a puzzle to frustrate you, but a story to read. Every shift, every reaction, every silence is part of a larger narrative. The more you pay attention, the more you learn not only about her, but also about yourself, because her behavior reflects back the energy, the love, and the respect you bring into her world. And when you honor that, you step into a deeper, richer, more meaningful connection that transforms not just your relationship with her, but the way you understand love itself. When you piece all of this together, you realize that women's behavior is not a puzzle to frustrate you, but a story to read. Every shift, every reaction, every silence is part of a larger narrative. The more you pay attention, the more you learn not only about her, but also about yourself, because her behavior reflects back the energy, the love, and the respect you bring into her world. And when you honor that, you step into a deeper, richer, more meaningful connection that transforms not just your relationship with her, but the way you understand love itself. Her behavior also shows you that love is not simply about words, but about demonstration. A woman pays close attention to whether your actions match your promises. She listens less to what you say and more to what you consistently do. If you say you value her but never make time, her behavior slowly mirrors neglect. If you promise her security but create uncertainty, her behavior becomes cautious. But when your actions reinforce your words, when you align what you say with how you live, her behavior blooms into deeper trust. This is the unspoken contract of love. Words may inspire, but behavior sustains. It is important to recognize the way women behave when they feel emotionally full. When a woman feels loved, seen, and supported, her energy radiates. She behaves with warmth, with patience, with a nurturing that touches everyone around her. She becomes a source of peace. But when she feels emotionally starved, her behavior changes drastically. She may become irritable, withdrawn, or distant. These shifts are not to punish, but to signal that her emotional well is running dry. Women thrive on emotional nourishment, and their behavior is a reflection of whether that nourishment is present. Another truth is how women behave in times of transition. Whether it is moving into a new stage of life, stepping into a career change, or navigating personal growth, her behavior during these seasons may fluctuate. She may seem uncertain, sensitive, or easily overwhelmed. This is because transitions stretch her, and her behavior adapts as she balances the weight of change. When she feels supported in these times, her behavior reflects gratitude and resilience. When she feels alone, her behavior may reflect fatigue or frustration. Recognizing this allows you to walk with her rather than misinterpret her struggle. Her behavior also reveals her relationship with trust. Trust for a woman is not something given blindly. It is built over time through consistency, respect, and honesty. When she trusts you, her behavior reflects openness. She shares more, she expresses more, she gives more. But once trust is broken, her behavior changes immediately. She becomes cautious, protective, and sometimes distant, even if she still loves you. Rebuilding trust requires not just words, but repeated patterns of reliability. Her behavior teaches that trust is fragile, but also possible to restore when you commit to change. Think also about how women behave in environments of comparison. When a woman feels compared to others, whether to friends, ex-partners, or societal standards, her behavior often reflects insecurity. She may pull back, question herself, or even withdraw from the relationship. But when she feels uniquely valued, when you affirm that who she is cannot be replaced, her behavior reflects confidence and radiance. A woman flourishes in an atmosphere where she knows she does not have to compete to be seen. Another layer lies in how women behave when they feel safe to express their individuality. Many women adjust their behavior in environments where they fear judgment. They may hold back opinions, silence their creativity, or hide their true passions. But when you create a space where she feels free to be herself, her behavior becomes vibrant. She laughs more freely, dreams more boldly, and expresses herself without hesitation. Her behavior is not just about how she feels about you, but about how you make her feel about herself. Her behavior also reveals her resilience in times of disappointment. A woman may forgive, but she rarely forgets. When let down repeatedly, her behavior changes. She stops asking for what she needs, stops expecting consistency, and eventually stops fighting for the connection. This shift is not sudden. It is gradual, and it is her way of protecting her heart. But if she sees genuine effort to change, her behavior can also shift back toward openness. Women often leave room for redemption, but their behavior makes it clear when the opportunity is slipping away. Consider also the way women behave when they feel admired. Genuine admiration is like fuel to her spirit. When she senses that you appreciate her beauty, her intelligence, her kindness, her efforts, her behavior reflects joy and playfulness. She glows differently when she feels admired. But when admiration is absent or replaced with criticism, her behavior loses some of its light. Her energy dims, not because she has changed, but because she feels unseen. Admiration is not about flattery. It is about recognition, and her behavior will always reflect whether she feels celebrated or diminished. Another profound truth is how women behave when they love deeply. Love for a woman is not passive. It is active, consistent, and expressive. She invests not just her emotions, but her time, her energy, her resources. Her behavior will show care in ways both small and grand. She will anticipate your needs, support your ambitions, and stand by you in trials. But this depth of love also means that betrayal cuts her more deeply. When she gives all, she expects reciprocity. Her behavior in love is one of the clearest reflections of her soul, and it is sacred to witness. Look also at how women behave in community. Women often thrive in connection with others, and their behavior in friendships, family, and social spaces reflects this. She may show loyalty, empathy, and a natural ability to bond deeply. Her ability to build community is not only a reflection of her nature, but also an extension of her love. When she feels supported in her communities, her behavior in relationships strengthens. When she feels isolated, her behavior often reveals loneliness or emotional fatigue. Her behavior also carries lessons about forgiveness. A woman may forgive you with her words, but her behavior tells you whether she truly feels safe again. If she still hesitates, still tests, still questions, it means the wound has not fully healed. Forgiveness for her is not just an event, but a process. Her behavior will slowly shift back into trust as she witnesses consistency. This is why patience is essential. You cannot rush her forgiveness. You must earn it through repeated actions. Think also about how women behave when they feel their presence is cherished. When you show that her company matters to you, her behavior reflects more enthusiasm and more openness. She will initiate, she will create moments, she will invest energy into togetherness. But when she feels like her presence is taken for granted, her behavior shifts into distance. She may stop initiating, stop sharing, and stop trying to create moments. Her behavior reminds you that presence is not just about being in the same room, it is about valuing the connection. Another truth is how women behave in alignment with love languages. For some, behavior shows love through acts of service. For others, it is quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, or gifts. If you misinterpret her language, you may miss her love entirely. Her behavior communicates in the language she values most. Recognizing and reciprocating that language allows you to connect with her more deeply. Her behavior is not random. It is her way of loving you in the way that feels natural to her. Finally, observe how women behave when they feel hope. Hope is powerful fuel for a woman's spirit. When she believes in the future, her behavior reflects optimism, energy, and resilience. She invests in the relationship, in her dreams, and in her environment with passion. But when hope fades, her behavior reveals exhaustion. She may stop trying, stop dreaming, stop believing. This is one of the most important lessons because her behavior always reveals where her hope stands. If you nurture her hope, you nurture her entire being. Her behavior is a reflection of love, of fear, of dreams, of disappointment, of hope, of trust. To pay attention to it is to honor her essence. It is to recognize that what she does, how she reacts, how she shows up, is not random but meaningful. It is her way of speaking even when words fail. And when you learn to listen to her behavior as much as you listen to her words, you begin to unlock not only her heart, but also the depth of connection that makes love truly transformative.